at 35,000 feet, in the middle of the night, over the Atlantic Ocean. 3 experienced pilots lost control of their aircraft, and for almost 4 minutes, they didn't realize it. No explosion, no fire, no catastrophic engine failure, just confusion. This is the story of Air France, Flight 447, one of the most advanced airplanes in the world, flying exactly as designed, until suddenly, it wasn't. June 1st, 2009. Air France, Flight 447, departed Rio de Janeiro. Destination, Paris. 228 people on board. Families, tourists, business travelers, most of them asleep. For hours, the flight was completely normal, cruising high above the Atlantic on autopilot. Smooth, routine, exactly the kind of flight nobody remembers. But ahead, the crew could see something developing. A large tropical storm system, towering clouds, heavy turbulence, nothing unusual. Airliners avoid storms every day. The pilots adjusted course slightly. Everything looked under control. But above the storm, something invisible was waiting. Not lightning, not turbulence. Ice, tiny ice crystals, small enough to seem harmless, carried upward by the storm. They struck 3 sensors mounted outside the aircraft. Pitot tubes, small instruments. One job, measure airspeed. Without accurate speed, the airplane's systems begin losing certainty. And for a modern airliner, certainty matters. Then, the Pitot tubes temporarily stopped giving reliable readings, and something happened most passengers never think about. The autopilot disconnected, a short warning tone, a message, and suddenly, the pilots were flying manually, 35,000 feet, at night. Inside, weather. No horizon. No outside reference, only instruments. The cockpit changed instantly. Speed readings disagreed. Warnings appeared. Multiple alarms. The airplane was still flyable. But now the pilots had to interpret conflicting information. Then another warning. Stall. A stall doesn't mean engines stop. It means the wings stop producing enough lift. Recovery usually requires lowering the nose, but humans don't always react logically under surprise. The co-pilot pulled back. Nose up. Instinct. Climb away from danger. Except this time, that reaction made things worse. The aircraft began climbing rapidly, thousands of feet, losing energy, losing speed, moving closer to a condition the warning was trying to prevent. Outside, darkness. Inside, confusion. The captain had stepped out moments earlier. Now he rushed back into the cockpit and walked into a situation changing every second. Multiple voices, warnings, questions, no clear answer. Imagine trying to understand a disaster already in progress, with less than a minute of context. Then came the moment that defined everything. The nose of the aircraft pointed upward, but the airplane was no longer truly flying. It was descending. Fast. Belly first. Like a falling leaf. The stall warning kept sounding, again and again and again. The aircraft dropped, almost 11,000 feet per minute, for nearly 4 minutes. And inside the cockpit, the crew never fully recognized the situation. This is what makes Flight 447 so difficult to understand. The airplane wasn't hiding information. The instruments were working. The aircraft was communicating. But in darkness, under stress, with alarms and conflicting signals, human perception changed. What felt correct was incorrect. Pulling back felt safe, but it deepened the stall. Every second reduced the chance of recovery. Altitude disappeared. Then, there wasn't enough left. At 2:14 a.m., Air France, Flight 447 struck the Atlantic Ocean. All 228 people on board were killed, and for a long time, nobody knew exactly why. The ocean kept the answer. Search crews spent months looking. The wreckage was eventually found nearly 4,000 meters below the surface. The flight recorders were recovered, and they revealed something unexpected. Not a dramatic mechanical failure, not sabotage, not a broken airplane, but a chain of moments. Small failures, human decisions, and a situation nobody fully understood until it was over. After Flight 447, pilot training changed. Airspeed failure scenarios changed. High-altitude stall recovery became a bigger focus, because the lesson wasn't that technology failed, it was something harder to accept. For a few minutes, one of the smartest airplanes ever built was giving the right answers, and nobody recognized them.